really wanted to have one of those signs that said liar or Elon steals or something for this podcast.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get the sign. The one that said Elon steals.
Yeah, they could have done something cooler with those signs.
Like what?
I don't know. Show us your butt.
All
Like
right,
one of those mustache, like hipster mustache things.
That would have been good. Yeah,
that like 10 years ago were popular.
Groucho glasses. Well, it's Mardi Gras today, right?
Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They could have busted out one of those like masks instead.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's 9:55, Tuesday, March 4th. And there was a major broadcast just on the television. Dennis, can you explain to me what the hell I was just watching?
So it's not the State of the Union because I guess he's not. They don't. If it's your first term,
Wait a second.
you don't do president.
Dennis, are you introducing a new hairstyle right now? Like, for a second, I was like, his hair looks a little weirder. And then you definitely tried to comb over your bald spot.
Let me tell you something.
He just watched Trump for 40 minutes and he decided he liked the haircut.
No. So I was laying in bed and I had bedhead. Okay, so two things. One, I have a new pomade that's supposed to be more natural looking.
It does look more natural, that's for sure.
For your hair. And then two, I was laying in bed and I got bedhead, and so I had to put a bunch of water in my hair, and so I like kind of just scooped it to the side.
All right, do you have this written response in front of you while you told us, or
All right,
you memorized it before we got on the call?
Oh my God, Dennis, please mess it up
looks
a little
terrible.
bit.
That will really ruin the pod clips.
If anybody, you can't hear this because this is usually an audio podcast. Dennis has some kind of new hairdo. It looks more natural, but it's definitely requiring a lot more effort. He looks a little bit. All right, let's not talk about that.
Got my part in a weird spot. There we
No,
go.
it looks fine now. It looked fine as soon as you fixed it because you knew exactly what you were doing.
Dennis, what were we just watching on television?
It's like the State of the Union, but it's not. It's called the Joint Address to Congress with Trump.
Okay.
And so Trump was just talking. What'd you guys think? It got pretty juicy there when that guy got kicked out.
Yeah, what was he saying? What was he saying?
I think he's just saying like, "Shut up," just over and over again.
Such an old man move to shove your cane like at someone and tell him to shut up.
Yeah, that guy has a beard too, and it's like all the way up to his eyeballs almost.
Man,
you notice that?
He looked crazy. There's a lot of people in there that looked really crazy.
Kind of reminded me of when we went to DC. And we were on the bus in grade school. We went on DC and we were on the bus, and the whole time because we were designated on the loser bus. Like we were the only, all the cool kids were on one bus, and then we were all three of us were on the loser bus.
Was
right?
Owen on the loser bus?
Yes, I was on the loser bus.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't belong on this bus. I'm close friends with Bobby and Kevin. Johnny, get me on the other bus. What's going on?
It reminded me, but we kind of the whole time were just chanting "loser bus" because we were embracing our role, and like we did this for like 3 days straight. And by the end of it, one of the parents, the chaperones, stood up and was like, "You guys need to shut up. You are not the loser bus." Kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but it also just in the sense that I don't watch anything political except for maybe election night. And what I just watched was akin to a WWE wrestling match. It was entertaining, yes. But was this good for politics? I don't know. That was insanity.
I think people, it's like everything else that's in public now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's for a clip on social media. So these people have these signs. They're wearing a pink dress to protest. There's so many protests going on that it's like all just a jumbled mess. So it becomes nothing.
It is true, and everybody's just waiting for their moment to get on camera and give their reaction. And they were like cutting to the weirdest looking people too. They kept cutting to this girl with cross eyes, and then when he was pointing out the girl who got hit in the head with the volleyball, I felt so bad for her. I'm like, that girl doesn't need this screen time. Do you know what I'm talking about?
He got like 2 minutes of screen time.
Yes.
They just had it locked in on her. But she did good. She did good at not making any weird gestures. I would have been readjusting how I'm sitting and trying to figure out stuff and like.
Yeah, I would have done the Kelsey Plum popcorn. Kelsey Plum.
Wait, so the girl that got hit in the head with the volleyball, so a male athlete, or like male to female athlete, hit a ball so hard it gave her brain damage?
Yeah, Ben Stiller style, like in Meet the Fockers, when he spiked
Meet the parents.
volleyball,
I did not hear the brain damage thing. I thought it was just like
they said like brain matter or brain damage.
Brain damage and partially paralyzed. She stood up just fine, clapped just fine. So if I were her, my one move would have been like, I got to kind of sell it a little bit, because I feel like she either recovered from the paralysis or it's just a phony lie.
Do you think the guy really hit it like that significantly harder?
I've seen volleyball. I watched a lot of it in high school, women's volleyball, and when that ball comes at you, it is fast. And these male athletes doing that, I could definitely see that really hurting somebody.
What's that thing when you hit a volleyball with your two hands?
Set.
And
nice.
But on your forearms, and you hit it, and then your hands, like your arms sting.
Well, you're hitting it wrong.
There's bump, set, and
every
spike.
time I do it, that's what happens.
There's bump, set, and spike. I don't know which one is your forearms, but there's boom, boom, and then boom.
When you're serving, no, that's
it's a bump. It's a bump.
Yeah,
do a little bump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I don't know where I stand politically nowadays, but that did not make me any more Republican. I can tell you that.
And the other way around, they do it. Both sides do the exact same thing. Whoever's in there, the other side never cheers. The other
is
side
that how it
always
always
stands.
is?
Yeah, it's so stupid. I'm like, you guys, if you agree with one thing, fucking go for it. Go for a clap. You don't need to stand up, but I think it's so ridiculous that no one can just agree with any one thing. But it was nice that Trump pointed that out. It's like, no matter what I do, you guys will never applaud me. It doesn't matter. I was like, that's very true.
There is one thing I hate that happened during this multiple times, and I've seen it in public, and for some reason it just rubs me the wrong way. And this might sound like I'm very anti-American, but when people chant USA, I don't know why. I don't like that for some reason. It just is like cringeworthy.
Yeah, I think you think of like anyone that does that chant, and you're like, oh, this is so lame. It's the equivalent of people like yelling, "Play Freebird" when everyone stands up with a guitar. It
just feels so unoriginal. And like
I was going to say,
copying
Dennis,
people.
You're a creative person, and like just to like latch onto a cliche and just like do your gut reaction and start chanting USA is just so unclever that
I can't do it. I wouldn't
know
be able to do it in the crowd.
You know what's worse about the people chanting USA is when it happens and someone looks at the person chanting it and like laughs and like thinks it's very funny and clever and then joins in.
Wait, say that again?
Not the person that started the USA chant, but is a person around, and they see them doing the USA chant and they start laughing like, oh, that's really funny. This is a perfect time to do it. And then they join in.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
God damn it.
Well, it made me question our entire podcast because I'm like, all we do now is rage bait. And I'm like, ugh, is this what we look like? Just out here like just shouting.
We're not fucking cool. We're not old either.
And our takes are a little more refined.
And all our rage bait is fake, just so we get likes on Instagram and TikTok.
That is true.
To fill some hole in our body.
I edit that footage so much to make it seem like we say. Oh, who's getting yelled at?
No, that was Buddy yelling. They're so loud.
It is funny though. I doctor that footage so much. Because it's just to make it cleaner and like quicker. But yeah,
I'm glad that the one clip with George went semi-viral on Instagram. The what's her name? Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah, that one we were a little scared to post.
But some people were insulting everyone's looks. So, and I wasn't on that one.
Yeah, I think they called us fat. Yeah.
They called you fat?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I must be the skinny one then. We haven't heard that yet.
No mention of hair though. We'll say
just
that.
for context, anybody.
Oh shit, you're right.
If you haven't seen, that's a good point. We were basically called.
All right, I'm going to it.
We said she's.
No, dude, please don't, because it's gonna make it way worse for us.
No
one's gonna subscribe if you have hair like this.
Okay, my last thoughts on that Trump speech we just watched is, while I don't entirely like disagree with some of the things, like the last thing I watched, they were talking about Doge and like the the government efficiency thing. And I mean, like some of the things they were saying were like, yes, that's ridiculous that we're paying $80 billion for whatever that is.
Yeah.
I really truly did not love the delivery of it. Like the tongue in cheek, and every time we looked at JD Vance, he was kind of like laughing. I'm like, I didn't like that.
I forgot to mention JD Vance's belt pants combination looks so fucked up. I don't know what it was. He looked like a college kid that just got done with their quarterly presentation and is out at the bars.
Yeah.
Just slapped on the shittiest suit pants. Something was so off about it, and I could not put my finger on it, but it was a bad fucking angle. Odd, and they showed it a billion times because they kept doing standing ovations.
Yeah. That guy too, the whole meme that was going around is like, you didn't say thank you. But did you notice when the guy was like protesting, he's like, hey, get him out of here. Get him out of here. He kept doing that. Like he's the one that's like,
oh, he's the one running the show. He's like, the guy in the back of the fight, like just kind of like shouting from a distance.
I love have you guys seen the JD Vance memes that are out there where
they are so fucking funny. I've seen like a million of them.
Doctor his photo, like he's basically coded as a really fat guy, but he's like kind of skinny.
Mm-hmm. He's got a big head.
So they just like make his cheeks puffier. I've seen one where he has like really curly hair and a beard, and like
there's one where he's completely purple, and it's there's something about Willy Wonka in there, and one cracked me up too.
Okay, so I think we can all, at least this is my take on it. Last take is just very entertaining in terms of content, but I do not, it was very unsettling to me to watch that. And maybe that's how it always is, but I just did not enjoy. It's just, that kind of stuff should be boring in my opinion. I shouldn't be tuning into government things, watching it's like it's the WWE or
I know, Oscars. Yeah, you're right. Maybe this is how it's all, but then I'm like, has it always been like this? And we were just younger and like didn't give a fuck?
No, I think it's, because Trump will always say something like kind of ridiculous. So it keeps you, it pulls you back in. Joe Biden would be, or any other president would just say pretty standard things. And then we raised this and we did that, and that's it. Nothing comedic.
Well, I didn't know that. Did you guys know this? Trump mentioned this, that Joe Biden was the worst president we've ever had.
I also don't know. Okay, let's stick with this. Like in terms of rhetoric, like just like, I don't like just, I guess that we do this too, but it's just like, I don't like just defining things as bad or best or good.
I love it.
It's just it's so unintelligent to just like with no basis. I guess he was kind of like providing some data with it, but just a point like and just say bad, good. Yeah, it just seems so unintelligent.
It's just crazy. We went from the worst president ever to the best president ever.
I know,
back to back. Like what a swing!
Just a couple months. Too.
Yeah. Then so lucky for us.
In second place, George Washington. He said,
"Yeah,
that's a really good number too." I don't know. Do you guys want to keep talking about this, or should we?
I don't think I think I didn't get to watch that much of it, so I don't have much more to give.
Was it going somewhere else? Was he going to make some official decrees?
They just points out like things that he's done, what they're going to do.
Okay, and maybe realize a lot that he's done. I've been able to tune out a lot of it. I didn't realize how much has been going on. So, and did you have any topics?
I forgot to submit anything, so I figured I was just going to go off of what you got. My topics were basically Dennis's.
I got some good ones. Dennis, what were yours again? Oh, the Oscars. Yeah, that reminds me. The whole time I was watching this political thing, I kept like, because I was so fresh off the Oscars, I kept like looking around the room because it felt like a red carpet when they were walking out. Like they were like handshaking and pictures. And I'm like, are these guys partying after this? Like, are they all like going to some kind of after party? With like,
I don't know,
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I'm now describing as the girl from Amelia Perez.
Oh, that's good.
Do you know who I'm talking about, Dennis?
Is it the transgender woman?
Well, Amelia Perez, the girl from Amelia Perez is the transgender woman, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is some kind of Republican.
Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She looks just very, very similar vibes. But yeah, it just felt like such a big night out in DC. Like I bet they like party until dawn after this thing.
Some of the people there are old as fuck. So
I know.
Yeah.
Like hang it up at some point. Like after 60 something, fucking just stop.
Yeah, if you're fucking 70 and chanting USA, get out. Like you don't deserve to be in there.
That is true. What are you latching on to?
You just seem really dumb to me.
Yeah. It is only acceptable to keep working that late in life if 1, you own a business and you can't let it go, or 2, you physically you literally can't retire because you need income to keep living.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you have to hang it up at some point.
Or you do a job that's like, you just want to talk to people, like Walmart greeter.
Yeah, maybe
that's not a career. That's just a job, part-time.
Maybe this isn't an original take, but my new take on politicians is it's people who just like went to high school and never quite like got out of there. Like either they're like trying to rehash like how they felt in high school because they were cool and popular or whatever, or it's people who weren't that in high school and now they have an opportunity to do it elsewhere. But the government just reminds me of high school.
Yeah, nothing like this podcast.
Yeah.
We're not reaching for anything.
I need everybody to know how cool I am.
Actually, I heard Vivek Ramaswamy.
Wow.
Some of it, he's running for governor of Ohio, and he's a big like MAGA guy, which I actually liked him at first, and then the more I heard about him, I kind of don't like him. I've heard his fellow students when he was in school say that he would ask questions all the time, but it was just a way for him to show how smart he was.
I hate those people. Everybody hates those people.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of politicians on left and right are probably like that, where I could see that Buttigieg same way. Ask a question just to hear yourself talk and show how smart you are.
That is annoying. Oy. I wonder if I do that too much. Okay, let's get into the Oscars. The first thing I just wanted to start with was just like, are you happy with who won? Anora? It seemed like Anora and The Brutalist kind of took away most of the stuff, right?
I was happy with Anora because it's one of the few movies I saw, so felt good to know that movie was one of the best. And I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't the best movie I saw last year, but it was good.
So the best movie. What was the best movie you saw?
Either Dune 2 or maybe Heretic.
Heretic should have been in some of the conversation. I don't know why that doesn't get talked about.
I think horror is like, so I've been reading about like The Substance. People were like shocked that Demi Moore was nominated for it. So I think horror is normally not ever nominated. Like Get Out and The Substance were like the two movies of the past 20 years that have been nominated.
I like the comparison on Twitter is that for winning best female or best actress went to what's her name, Mikey Madison, and Demi Moore lost, and they're like, this is basically the plot to The Substance.
Oh no, that's a stretch. I wouldn't even say like Mikey Madison's like, I would not put like her looks first and foremost in any.
No, I just her winning over Demi Moore, an old woman.
I just would argue that
her.
The Substance was not that great of a movie, and it didn't really show that much range. She was just playing an old actress, like.
But she did really fucking good. That's who I voted for to win Best Actress because she
Where did
awesome,
you vote?
At my local poll. I didn't have to show ID either. We're one of those states. Mail in, baby.
Oh shit! Adrian Brody's speech was annoying.
Yeah. Pretentious. Just the fact that he's like, the music playing, I'm gonna keep going. Like, stop the music.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, I don't even know what he said. Basically, that he won an Oscar 20 years ago, and then he was through a bunch of shit. Like a blue collar guy, like 9 to 5, grinding every day.
Yeah. It didn't fucking stick. Whatever he said didn't stick at all. And the fact that he says, stop the music, I'm going to wrap this up soon. And it ended up being the longest acceptance speech in Oscars history, and by like 40 seconds. So the other one was 5 minutes.
The fact that none of us can even tell you what he said is like ridiculous.
Yeah, half of it was talking about how they need to stop rushing him along. He'll finish.
Yeah. And I guess I saw a clip of him the following day. And I guess that he does walk and talks where he films himself and talks, does like Instagram stories. And then at that point, I'm like, oh, now I get it. He's this type of guy who likes to
get attention growing up.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. We can relate to all this, but it's just.
What'd you guys think of Conan?
Oh, he was really funny. I thought all the bits were really, really funny.
Yeah. I feel like Conan is the most like one of the most like guy, maybe from our generation, like.
He's our
Conan
David
was
Letterman.
my most watched late night guy growing up.
And he's just so self-deprecating, but also like I don't know, he just has a very good charisma to him and a good look. Good look, does that make sense? Like he just like looks kind of quirky but cool at the same time.
Yeah. I think his best joke was the Kendrick Lamar where he's like, we're halfway through the show, so now it's time to call Drake a pedophile.
That was really funny.
And yeah, Kendrick Lamar is so fucking short. Clip that guy.
He wears platforms. I know that.
100%. 100%.
Okay, no more callbacks. No more callbacks. All fresh material, guys. We can't just keep recycling stuff.
All right, cut that out of the pod then.
Did you have any other takes on the Oscars?
I did.
I didn't think that Kieran Culkin was going to win. He was my last pick for...
That was another person who wasn't really acting. He was playing the same character he plays in everything. So I wouldn't really...
That's like part of the reason why I don't want to watch the movie, because I'm like, I can't imagine him playing a different character here.
I don't like him. I've decided. Not a fan.
Definitely my least favorite character in Succession.
I agree.
I will say, though, the more I see of the other guy, Jeremy Strong, they kept that guy seems like he's really into himself, too.
Dude, he should have fucking won, though. He was so good in that movie.
You saw that movie?
If you guys saw Apprentice, yeah, that was, his acting was, I was like, he's going to win this. And he looked like he was pissed that he didn't win.
Yeah.
That guy's been on my radar for 10 years. Ever since I saw Big Short. And he was, I think, like carrying around the bat in the office. Yeah. I'm like, this guy is a talented fucking actor.
I forgot that he was in that.
He was so good at Big Short, and and then I saw him in Succession. But the more I see of him in real life, he just seems to take himself a little too seriously.
It seems like him and Kieran Culkin are exact opposites actors. Where I watched a video. I didn't read. Okay, so I'm about to say I read something. I watched a Twitter video once of Kieran Culkin.
That's it. Yeah,
nailed it.
Him talking to Pedro Pascal about learning lines, and Pedro Pascal has like some elaborate system, and Kieran Culkin's like, "Oh, I only have to read it once, and then I'm good." And I feel like he's such a natural at like acting, but he's always kind of playing the same character, so maybe that's why it's easy for him. Where I feel like a Jeremy Strong type guy is like diving in the night before or diving in for weeks before with his lines and stuff like that.
But Owen, how does Jeremy Strong's character in The Apprentice differ from his character in Succession or Big Short?
So, because he's playing a lawyer, he's playing Donald Trump's lawyer, Roy Cohn, who was, I think that's his last name. He was like another monkey movie. But it's a completely different person. And it's a closeted gay guy lawyer.
Oh, okay. Is he?
But he's very like grimy. Like he just does things that are not. They're kind of below the belt.
Is he tough New Yorker?
Yeah, and just like slimy.
Okay.
You just didn't want to cross. You never wanted to cross him. I guess he was like he was the lawyer of a lot of the mafia and just other people in New York around that time.
Okay, well, here's my last take for the Oscars. I've been thinking about this a lot ever since I saw Zoe Saldana at the Golden Globes, and the way she would speak English, and then go, Amelia Perez. It would be like if there was a movie called Kevin Stuzinski, and she was like, I want to give the award to, and then she said Kevin in like a traditional Irish accent, and then Stuzinski in like a traditional Polish accent. She was like,
so true.
Like just normal English, and then Kevin Stuzinski. It's so forced in that context. Like you have to go out of your way. Like just you're speaking naturally. You're speaking like the tongue of this people you're listening, and like to force it out is just so forced. But I wanted to
see a lot of people countering your argument, but I like your argument way better than the counter argument.
And the award goes to Owen Fogarty. Like if you're gonna do it with one, you got to do it for everything. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say.
I like
you
it.
Can't pick and choose.
I like it.
You got to acknowledge all the humanities in that.
What? So, do you guys think Timothée Chalamet should have won? He seemed like he was on a campaign, to win it.
Have you guys seen A Complete Unknown?
I have no interest, to be honest.
Either Bob Dylan was that like I don't know on the spectrum, or Timothée Chalamet played him like he was. I
think he is. I think he is on the spectrum. Okay. He's like Bob Dylan to me is the Kanye West of the 60s.
Sure. Okay. But you could give, I feel like Timothy, like 60% of the time did a great job acting. The other 40% of the time, I'm like, seems like he's playing like a guy with special needs the way he's talking or acting.
I watched that 3-hour documentary on Bob Dylan, the one that I think probably Martin Scorsese or somebody did. And there was never one point like where I was like, he's on the spectrum. I'm sure he is, but like, it wasn't like distracting.
It was more so the way he talked. And I get that Bob Dylan has the weird like voice.
Okay. right. Well, because
there's something about someone playing an actor that was alive or is alive during our lifetime that makes me not want to watch him.
Yeah,
I agree.
And it's weird that Bob Dylan's still living, and we have this movie.
He's never even met Timothy Chalamet, and because I've heard Timothy Chalamet talk, like, it's my dream to meet Bob. And it's like, damn, you played him for 3 hours in a movie.
He's been practicing for 5 years. I'd say the dedication that he put into that role, I think he should have potentially won, but I don't know.
Do you guys think Timothy and Kylie Jenner are going to make it?
They seem kind of happy.
I think
like,
so.
It doesn't seem like all that dysfunctional.
Yeah, I think they hit their stride, both of them.
I'm surprised that he's taller than her. Kevin's out.
Podcast's over. You talk about Kylie Jenner. Kevin has to leave.
No, I saw a video of them side by side, and Timothy Chalamet was taller.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably sneaky tall. He might be like 6 feet.
Okay.
He doesn't seem like a short guy. He's just really skinny.
Yeah, he was really trying to get this Oscar. I think he even knew he didn't deserve it.
I was rooting for him because I really like him.
And I think it's good for him. Like, Leo DiCaprio, like, he didn't win his first. So it's like, it's going to keep him, like, they got to keep fueling him. They can't give him this award. I would think that the Academy knows, like, let's keep pushing this kid. Like, let's whiplash him. We need to get him to, like, you know, in reference to Whiplash, like, let's get this kid to see how good he can really get.
Speaking of Whiplash him. Do you guys think Miles Teller is a big drinker?
He is a big drinker for sure. He is the face of that drink I tried to get you to drink that one time, Dennis. Long drink.
Oh.
But I didn't think he was drunk.
No, he just looks like someone that drinks a lot.
He went on tour and was like promoting that drink, but he's also in really good shape. So it's like, to be able to counter that is impressive.
I used to really not like that guy, and I didn't like the way his face looked. But now I feel like I'm a Miles Teller fan.
That new movie that he was in, The Gorge, was pretty good.
I haven't seen that.
It was a good first hour and a half. It dragged.
Flying to Hawaii, so I might watch. I think I'm going to watch it on a plane.
Dennis, I'm trying to find your topics.
Let me look.
Try to find my topics too. Okay, I got my.
Okay, just go to my topics.
Oscar recap, scam artist, Severance, and White Lotus update.
Okay, cool. I have the next thing I want to talk about. Then Severance, White Lotus, scam artist. Okay, because it's award season, I just wanted to give out a quick award. And I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but my award to the best candy, Cadbury Mini Eggs. They're only available this time of year. Are you familiar with Cadbury Mini Eggs?
Maybe. Are they full of caramel or cream?
They're basically fancy M&Ms, and they only sell them around Easter because they're like eggs. And they come in that little they come in like an M&M type packaging, like the little plastic wrap, and they're like these like hard coated candy
they're
shells.
Too pastel-y. They taste like the way they look.
No, they're so good. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Rescind that award. I know what you're talking about.
The awards are in. I can't take them back.
You have to. That's not the best candy. Best candy of all time.
I don't buy candy. I never buy candy. But when the Cadbury Mini Eggs are on the shelves, I have to pick up a pack. It comes and I go to a lot of, when I'm at Target or CVS, I always have to get the Cadbury Mini Eggs.
Yeah, I don't think they got like a malt.
I've never
they
heard
have
of
a
it.
malt taste. That's what it is.
I love malt taste.
They're kind of like Whoppers that have M&M coatings in them. Ooh. I like Whoppers, but that combination isn't for me.
Dennis, are you familiar?
No.
Really?
Well,
you never seen a
check
Cadbury
your
Mini
front
Egg?
door. We just shipped you a whole.
I have a pack of them upstairs, and I love them too because they're like it's really like a giant M with that tastes better, and like I can just like leave them in my food pantry and like pop like 2 a night and like be satisfied. It's like taking 2 ibuprofen.
Is it chocolate coated or like hard like
it's a really
M&M coated?
It's a candy shell like M&M. Okay. But it's like an egg shape with like a really, really good chocolate inside.
This is crazy. Dennis, Kevin has literally explained this candy to you like 30 times. How do you not fucking get it?
I just don't fucking get
it. It's good.
I'm so uninterested in it that my brain cannot comprehend it. Sorry.
I thought you guys would like latch onto this. It's so good. Okay. Dennis, what are you talking about with your scam artist? Yeah, man. Now it's your turn to interest me.
So my company, we're trying to hire some people, and we've been getting like a bunch of these phone calls that said, "Hey, I got an email from your recruiter, and like I'm applying for the job, and we're like, we don't have a recruiter working for us. And some guy created a domain name that looks just like ours and is emailing all these people and saying basically, hey, apply to this job. You have to fill out this form at this link, some random link. And there's probably been at least 30 people that have contacted us about it.
I know who this is.
Who is it?
It's that guy that called you that one time, left a voicemail. He's playing the long game. He's trying to screw you.
Yeah, he's trying to sabotage the company.
I think so. Someone who listens to this podcast set up that website. You need to show your face, or
it's just
face the repercussions from Dennis.
Wait, this reminds me.
Tell him what you're gonna do to him, Dennis.
Block him.
Oh, you don't want to get blocked, bitch.
This reminds me that I know I'm getting old because I recently fell for my first scam, like one of these text message scams. And you know how they're like always like targeting older people? I'm trying to remember what this scam was. I want to say it was like I got a text message that was like, "Hey Kevin, your like flight confirmation didn't go through. Like we just need you to like log in and like double check your flight or something."
Oh shit! And where are you going?
No, I'm speaking very.
Oh, was it like the ones I've been getting lately is you have to pay this toll.
Toll?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I got that today.
Yeah,
and it tricked me. You know, it gets what it was because it takes time out of my day to have to think about it. The other ones, I'm like, this is clearly a scam. But I got it, but it's always from an email address is what it comes through a text. I got it from Smith1614 Gregory Furt at iCloud.com. Texted me that Ohio final remainder, you have an outstanding toll. And I'm like, why would I have an outstanding toll in Ohio? It's like, when have I driven last? I'm like, fuck.
Okay,
this
guys,
is gonna go against my credit score. I'm like, you know what? This is a fucking scam. How am I actually second guessing this?
Do you ever respond? I just usually respond and say, shut up or fuck you.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? We have a special guest on the pod. My dad's calling me. Mr. Stu, say hi.
Oh, good evening, all. Good evening, Jeff.
Hey, Mr. Squid Game.
I hate that guy.
I can't hear what my dad's saying, but I just want to let him know that.
He can't hear what we're saying either.
Okay, all right. I was just calling to tell you, I went to the Ottawa Garfield Heights game, and it elevates the level of competition that you and Matt played against was far superior than the current level of high school.
Okay, I have noticed that. We'll have to dive into that on another pod. I can't hear you because my headphones are on. Let's. I agree. I think they were playing.
I'm telling you, it's nothing compared to what you did.
I think Steph Curry ruined basketball is what it comes down to.
Something's very wrong. It's I give you guys credit because the competition is really. Anyway, okay, go enjoy your pod. Talk to you later.
Hey, bye. Enjoy your pod.
We miss you.
Can't interrupt the pod. Even dads know that.
The scam that I fell for was it was a USPS notice saying like, hey, your package can't be delivered until you like pay this $1. And I'm like, I texted Megan, I'm like, is this legit? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, good, because I just tried like paying it for like half an hour.
They didn't make the scam easy enough to take your money from you.
Exactly. Yeah, they need to work on their user experience. Maybe
I was going to ask you guys with my topic, what's one scam you've fallen for that you're like, I totally got fucked over? What like your biggest scam, if there is one?
I kind of mentioned mine, but I don't think I have anything more major than that.
I one time was at my house and a guy knocked on my door and he said, hey, I'm delivering steaks in this neighborhood and I have a bunch of extra ones in my van. And he's like, do you want these? I'll give you like 30 steaks for $100. And I'm like, whoa, that's a deal. Okay, let me look at these steaks. And he showed me the steaks.
Let me wait, I'll bust them out, homie.
Dennis is like, I gotta make a steak salad tonight. Let's go.
Yeah,
guy pulls up with the Remova, unzips.
So he shows me these steaks and they look beautiful, like they're marbled and red and everything. They're frozen. And so I'm like, all right, I'll give $100. So I gave him $100. He gives me the steaks. It was probably like 20 steaks, not 30. So I get the steaks and I put them in my freezer, and like a few days later I take one out, defrost it, and this thing shrunk to like half the size, lost all its color, and worst steak I've ever had in my entire life. It tastes like it's like been freezer burned for forever.
What a racket.
I know. And I just remember coming downstairs and me having the box And Lisa's like, what just happened? I'm like, oh, I just bought 20 steaks. And then I realized just how ridiculous it sounded just because some random guy came to my door and gave me the steaks.
That's how scams get you. They got to get your emotions. They got to catch you off guard. I won't speak for myself because I'm foolproof. But I recall what I went to, this is on behalf of my brother, Ryan. We went to Italy when I was like 21 years old. He must have been like 29, 30. And I just remember him coming back with this like leather coat in his hand to like a room we were staying in. And he's just like, I just bought this coat for $250. This guy just sold it to me on the street. He's like, it's this fine Italian leather and I just needed it or something. Ryan, you'll have to come defend yourself on the pod one day of why you bought that. Just never buy a leather Italian coat off the street.
Was it junk? Confirmed?
Yes,
or
it was junk.
Okay.
It was 100% junk.
I also have bought something from like, it was a belt when I was going to New York in high school. And it was just at one of those places where they're just selling random shit on the street. And it was supposed to be a Gucci belt. I'm like, these are normally so expensive. Like, why is it so cheap? I didn't understand the bartering system at that time. I'm like, I'm just going to buy this. And the lady said it's for $20. And I said, I'll give you 30. And I bought it for 30.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Here's the thing. I didn't mean to go up higher. In my mind, I thought they were going to give me a different price. So I went with 30. And then I just didn't know how to walk myself back out of it. So I was like, whatever, I'm forking up the money. It's like, it was a good deal regardless. And then to later find out that like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, this is a thing. They scam you.
So you were just like probably nervous walking up there and you're like, 30. It's like, highest I'm going is 30. Highest I'm going is 30.
Well, we want like the chaperone said like, you guys like, it's a bartering system around here. So I figured that they were going to be hitting me with like 200. And,
right.
Yeah. So
they do just pry on nervous people like us. That's the
Yeah.
Well, speaking of nerves, I went to a doctor recently. Like we talked about this on last pod. And well, I should rephrase that. I went on a guy's trip with the doctor recently.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you haven't gone to a doctor, Kevin.
And it's the guy that I was with. He's a children's sleep specialist. So he's like a sleep doctor. And I happened to room with this guy when I was on this trip. And Megan I texted Megan that I was rooming with Dr. Dye. That's his name.
Dr. Dye?
Tom Dye.
Oh
DYE.
There's too much going on with this guy's profession and name.
Is this like a Mad Lib that you're reading?
Yeah, what's going on here?
With a children's sleep doctor.
No,
his name was Dr. Dye.
Dr. Dye, the sleep doctor. This is all real. Maybe my life is fake. I don't know. This is part of.
Is this a bit?
It's not a bit. No, it's not a bit. I play basketball with this guy every week.
This is gonna come down to like a sentence that Kevin's gonna end it with like.
It is not a bit.
Dr. Dye killed me or something.
It is not. Come on. It is not. It's not a joke. I just no. Megan was like, "Oh, you're rooming with Dr. Dye. Can you ask him what's wrong with your sleep?" And I was like, "Hey, like, what's wrong with my sleep?" He's like, "Oh, you have sleep apnea." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. It's positional. Like, it's only when you're on the side." So, like, he was like sleeping in bed next to me, and he like heard me snoring and could just tell I had sleep apnea.
I was gonna ask you, is this guy just as soon as you fall asleep, he just busts out his pen and paper and he's taking notes for you?
Well, I so that was the first time like I had accepted the fact that I am not a good sleeper. But I recently had 2 panic attacks while I was sleeping. And I woke up in the middle of the night and was just like in pure like fight or flight mode. And I had to like pace around my basement for 2 hours, take a shower, pace around for another hour just to get my heart rate down.
Yeah. No.
And it's fine in hindsight, whatever. But like, this has happened to me now 4 times total, 5 times total, 2 in the last 2 weeks. And I was like, all right, I need to figure this out. So I asked him and he's like, oh, when you have sleep apnea, have you gotten that figured out yet? Because like your heart is so susceptible to like those kind of like reactions if you have sleep apnea, because I'm basically suffocating at night.
Yeah.
So I'm now committed like to I'm getting a CPAP. I'm going full CPAP.
Do you have to get diagnosed for those yet, or can you just? I figure you can.
I feel like I could probably do it online. Just get like it's kind of like Hinge. You just get like
get a Timu CPAP.
Wait, CPAP is the oxygen thing that you wear a mask. Can't you wear like a retain? Like I've heard you can wear retainers that like open your airways or something like that.
No, thing there's nothing like that. Like this thing.
Go go big or go home. If you're gonna
this
be
thing
testing stuff.
forces oxygen into your so basically what happens with sleep apnea is like your jaw loosens up and it closes your pathway. So this thing like forces the air down so hard that it keeps a steady flow of air, like, which is dangerous. So you need to like get a doctor. I think you need to do a sleep study. But I am 100% in. I don't know if I've ever had a good night's sleep in my life. If I go to bed at 9 and if it was up to my own device, I'd wake up at 12. Like, if I go to bed at 12, I'm going to wake up at 12 and I'm always going to be tired. So I'm very curious to see how this will change my life. I'm getting a CPAP for sure.
Yeah, maybe it'll change it significantly. I'll tell you one thing that probably wasn't good for your stress is sleeping next to a sleep doctor. I wouldn't be able to do it.
I was,
like, this
I was
guy
drunk.
is...
It was a guy's trip.
Okay.
So.
Dr. Dye. Hopefully he listens to the pod. Does he listen to the pod?
No, but if I tell him we gave him a mention, he'll probably listen to it.
Any other questions for Dr. Dye while we're on here, Dennis? You got anything?
Dr. Dye's we got to bring him on the pod. He's a big movie guy. He loves movies. So interesting guy.
What's his favorite movie?
Die Hard.
He's the one that sold me on Werner Herzog and Port of Call, New Orleans. The Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. With I
haven't seen that yet.
It's you guys gotta watch it. It's just about a degenerate gambler.
Is that Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, like it's just about an adrenaline junkie. I can't recommend it enough. But we must continue.
I have a question though, Kevin. With your panic attacks, were you drinking when you had them?
No. It was like a Monday or Tuesday, so it was like a little bit like after like a weekend of drinking.
Yeah,
which certainly doesn't help.
Yeah, I would say like hard drinking. That's when I feel like I'm the most anxious the days after.
Yes,
like 2 or 1
like
to 2
Sunday.
days after. Yeah.
And I think that on top of the almost dying in your sleep just wakes you up to like pure terror.
For sure. Yeah, get that checked out, Kevin. You should go to the other doctors too, but we won't dig into that because I know you don't want to.
No, I'm working on my health. I go to a therapist now. Yeah,
Dennis. We're also very proud of you. I know. I was waiting for Dennis too.
For what?
I don't know. You look like you had something to say.
I was gonna say something about gas stations, but I didn't.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe if I could get my sleep figured out, maybe I need less nicotine and caffeine, and I'll need less self-medication.
Sure.
But Dennis, Severance and White Lotus, which one is winning in your book right now? They're both in the heat of things.
My Severance, I was so excited for the start of it, and White Lotus is so good. I think it's one of my favorite shows of all time. Just a series. I just love being in these resorts.
Can I pause you for 1 second? Did you watch the season of Survivor that Mike White was on?
Yes, I did.
Did you think that guy was capable of writing something so interesting or creating so
No,
interesting?
I'm like, this guy's career's done. He's on Survivor. And I guess Survivor is what inspired him to write this. And he writes and directs every episode too. So this is all him.
It's his baby. I've read up on it. Like, these are all his visions. Like,
Hold on. The guy that wrote White Lotus was on Survivor?
But before that, he was already famous, Owen, semi. He was in School of Rock.
Yeah.
He wrote School of Rock, and he was in it. Jinx.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and he made it pretty far in Survivor. He was pretty good.
Do you remember? Do you remember School of Rock, Owen?
I never watched it.
What? That's a great fucking movie.
Next question. Come on.
That's a great
movie.
movie.
Hates when people do this too.
I do.
Never watched School of Rock?
It drives me nuts. But I do it too. So, and I always have to catch myself when I do that and be like,
Richard
it's okay
Linklater.
if they haven't seen it.
That would be a good movie for your kids to watch. I feel like they're at a good age.
100%.
I think that about every movie we show them, and they are just not impressed most of the time. There's too many other things that are more interesting on the internet that I don't know. But they always want to watch movies with us. So I think it's just a fun family thing.
I do think movies have a longer shelf life.
Right?
Movies have a longer longevity, that's a terrible phrase, than TV, because whereas like TikTok kind of scratches that like TV itch, I think there's always going to be a place for movies. Oh, and I loved that. Oh, that brings me back to the Oscars. When Sean Baker did his speech about going to the movies, that really resonated with me.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're
that.
right. We need to keep these alive. That's such an experience. Getting the popcorn, getting the giant soda, forcing yourself to put the phone away and watch. I'll stand up for that. That's something I believe in.
Speaking of, I forgot to mention this, Sean Baker, a lot of people are mad at him because he follows libs of TikTok on Instagram.
I saw that.
So a lot of liberals are mad at him about that. And he didn't have a sex coordinator or something like that on his movie set. And so, because Mikey, whatever her name is, Maddie?
Yeah, Mikey Madison.
She didn't want one. And so people are like, well, she could have said she didn't want one because she was pressured in by the director, and it's like, where does it fucking end?
This is where
just fucking like, where is it where you say believe women? Just stop it at that point. She said she didn't fucking want it. Don't say she needs one, because then it makes it worse.
To tie it back to what we just watched earlier with Trump, like this is where I love the middle. Like those people are so extreme, like trying to find any negative. This guy is an artist. He's a director. He like what makes his movies so great is he like finds slices of life that are very real, like people dealing with real problems. And like, in order for him to learn and study, he can't live in fake perfect world. He needs to study what the other side is like so he can make movies about it. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
What did they call it? A sex what?
It was like a sex coordinator, or like they basically oversee the sex scenes.
I wish I had one of those in high school.
It's like sex chaperone. It's like a sex chaperone too. So this is just like what George was talking about when you're in the doctor's office and they ask you want a chaperone. They're like, I don't want more people involved in this. It makes it worse.
Yeah. And I think all they do is they put up one, like a circle, and then finger they just show you what to do the whole
people
time.
Are pretty confusing these days, like with all the genders and stuff. You don't really, it's hard to remember who does what goes where, and it's just all so ambiguous these days. Yeah, so in that sense, they should have.
Kevin, have you been watching White Lotus?
No, I've been watching Sopranos.
Have you watched any of the White Lotus?
I watched the first 2 seasons, loved it.
Okay, Walter Goggins is great in this. It's awesome.
No, you really need to watch it, Kevin.
Oh, I will.
And what do you think so far?
I love it. I've loved every season of this. And as it goes on, I'm really excited because I'm about to go to Hawaii. So it's getting me pumped for warm weather.
Can I ask you this? What makes this one more special or unique than the first two?
It's always there's multiple stories of different people that are on the trip. And those small stories, the family that's there is really funny, or it's just like, it's so entertaining. The mom is just addicted to like,
she's like lobotomized.
Yeah. So she just takes like Xanax basically all day long and just doesn't care about anything. The dad is involved in something with his very successful business.
Like money laundering.
Yeah. And then there's this group of 3 women that, you know how like women always talk shit about each other behind each other's back.
Oh, right.
It's like they keep,
and
2 of them are talking and they love each other, but then they talk behind the back and then other 2 do it. And Walter Goggins is just an angry guy on vacation with his girlfriend.
Younger.
Much younger girlfriend.
What do you think of that girl? So she has she's basically an actress because of her teeth. She's like a very British actress.
Yeah, and she was on she's Game of Thrones.
Was she?
Samwell's
that's her?
Girlfriend, yeah.
Oh.
Gilly.
I actually heard that she can't get any American roles because no one would believe her because her teeth are so English.
That'd be crazy if anyone's teeth like that is in the United States.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that people have something distinguished like that, like teeth. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, last night I watched sorry, I just listened to your joke. I watched White Lotus and then I watched Severance. I'm kind of over on Severance. Severance is just weird to be weird.
I thank you for coming around. I thank you for coming around.
They're trying too hard to be weird.
No,
I don't like. It's too weird. It's like I like normal, and a little bit of weird. This is weird. Good. Every single thing. It's like a picture of a cat that says "hang in there" and like shit like that. It's too much. Too much weird
Welcome,
stuff.
Dennis. I agree. Severance lost me in the last episode, and I never want her back.
No, Kevin, don't listen to Dennis. He's wrong. It's too good. This season, in my opinion, is way better than the other one.
Okay, before we get into Severance really quick, I just want to... I was mansplaining.
They're both so good.
So I did watch the first 5 to 10 minutes of this new season of White Lotus, and it made me realize what makes this show so interesting. I was actually mansplaining it to a coworker about how
I'm glad you took that word and you made it your own and you made power to it.
Made it a positive thing. Yeah. Mansplaining is good. You have that on record.
Yeah.
Women need to be told. Thank you.
I don't even think women understand what mansplaining is.
No.
So we should probably let them know.
It's over their heads. What makes White Lotus so interesting is like it made me realize what vacation essentially is bringing yourself like back in time or bringing yourself back to poverty. Like you're essentially like saying like I have so much money like in where I live and like in my culture that I'm gonna go to fucking Costa Rica where everybody's poor and live like a king on a beach, or like I'm gonna go to Thailand and live like a king here where all these like people who are significantly less wealthy than me are gonna treat me like a fucking king. And I never thought of vacation like that before.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
I've never thought. No, I don't. I think that
Vacation
people are like,
is basically
my money goes further here. I'm going to Hawaii. I don't have enough money to live
Hawaii is
life.
different. Hawaii is different.
This is like you're very specific on like southern South America or like poor countries, but I'd say most people's vacations tend to be expensive.
I guess I see what you're saying. You're saying like as a king, like people wait on you.
Yes, exactly. I'm not saying it's cheap, and because I'm thinking now like vacations have become a premium that like you're competing with other people who want to do the same thing, but you are going to somewhere where like it's a tropical paradise that's like a third world country.
Yeah,
you rarely go on vacation where it's like I'm going to go to this suburban development in Cleveland, Ohio, where like
it's like I'm going out.
It's like, why would anyone spend their money to do something worse than their current situation?
I just never realized like that's what vacation is. It is like kind of taking.
Here's the thing, Dennis. I think we forgot that Kevin doesn't like vacations. He's very on record about not being a vacation guy. And I think he just finally recognized what they actually are. And he's like, oh, this is actually pretty awesome.
So my favorite vacations are cruises. I like cruises.
So Kevin, I was about to say, I'm going on a cruise in 2 weeks.
Yes.
for 4 nights. And in that situation, every single person that works there is like basically foreign.
100% third world.
Yeah. And they're all like so happy and all this stuff. And you're like, are they really happy? Mm-hmm. They do this shit every single day. But yeah, I think it's just every desire you can fulfill.
And the reason I mentioned that is just that's what makes the White Lotus such an interesting dynamic, because they show the workers, they show the guest. These are people with these problems. These are people with these problems. Like it's such a unique group of people. It's almost like vacation's almost like living in the Real World house or like a Bravo Real Housewives. So it's such a weird cultural dynamic.
I love about vacation, like especially when you stay at a resort, where you start seeing the same people and you give them nicknames. Like Lisa and I were on a vacation once, and
that sounds
fun. These two young people were just like making out all the time, so we call them the sex couple. And then I saw this other family; they looked German, had no clue if they were, and I call them Das German family. So just giving nicknames to people you see all the time.
So all credit to Mike White.
That alone makes me being like, okay, maybe I do want to go on a cruise.
So Mike White, he took that energy and turned it into a brilliant television show that I could argue could run for another 50 years just with a new destination spot every time.
Oh yeah.
So, credit to him.
And Owen, what do you think of the new theme song? It's grown on me. I like it.
I was gonna say, I know your thoughts. The other one was Superior.
But I don't remember that first one, like the first season, it being that iconic. It was like second season.
Because second season they did a remix of it. So it was a little more upbeat. Yeah.
I think people are surprised at it because the song
starts
off.
There's nothing to it.
That sounds like a ringtone.
Yeah. Ooh, it literally is a ringtone.
Yeah, it's good.
So
Walter Goggins is awesome.
So Dennis, do you think Severance is too crazy?
Yeah,
no, he's wrong.
I fell asleep last night during it too. So
okay,
and then
that's the sign.
Yeah, and Lisa in the middle of it, middle of me sleeping while we're watching the show, she goes, "What? Why did that happen?" I'm like, "I'm sleeping."
Okay, so this is why you can't take what Dennis thinks about this and listen to it. Kevin, you need to watch it.
Do you guys ever fall asleep watching shows?
Not while sober.
No, and if it's something that I like want to watch, no.
But I watch a lot of TV in my bed.
Sure. If I'm watching,
I feel like you guys don't.
Fridays and Saturdays, we'll watch a lot of TV in my bed, and I have an idea that I'm going to be up for like 3 hours. So I grab like a big glass of wine, and I'm falling asleep within like 1 minute. So
while you're watching, or right when it ends?
Yeah, while I'm watching. No, while I'm watching TV.
Oh, okay. So you do.
I want to stay awake, but I never make it.
Oh, okay. Good.
All right. Well, let's end on this. So Dennis, I texted earlier that I finally think The Sopranos is going to stick for me. Oh, and have you seen The Sopranos?
Sorry, I was yawning.
No, it's getting late. That's what I'm trying to close this out.
We tried watching it. We haven't gotten very far. First season still.
Okay, so you tried it like at like 30 years old?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I think.
Okay, and I'm surprised that Dennis latched onto it at such a young age, because the reason it's really starting to resonate. Resonate is a good term. We should.
We need it.
Like, it's really resonating with me. Is that like I'm starting to like get to a point in my life where like I have more responsibilities at work, and like I have like even this stupid podcast feels like a responsibility, and like a girlfriend to be a partner to. And it's like I kind of am really relating to that first episode of Tony Soprano, like why he's having this panic attack. It's just like he has the weight of the world on his shoulder, and it's like he's just latching on to so much. And I don't know, it's just really hitting for me. So Dennis, should I continue down this journey? I'm excited.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what makes it so great. It's not like the mob shit.
No,
like,
it's almost like
people think like it's them fucking whacking. No, it's like him talking to his therapist about how he has no outlet in his life because he has to act like a macho man, and he has to around his wife he's fake, and like he has like no outlet. And
the mom stuff obviously too is
the mom stuff. And Kevin, once you watch the documentary about them making the show, and the whole show exists because the creator's mom was exactly like that mom, and he's like, I'm gonna make a show about everyone told him, you got to make a show about your mom, she's fucking crazy.
It's really hitting. Good. I'm excited. It's
a good show.
Better than Mad Men?
I think so. Maybe not for you. Mad Men is good too. I think about Sopranos a lot more though.
Very similar vibes though to me, like a guy who kind of like is very troubled but has to kind of carry like or pretend like he's so much more confident than he is.
Yeah I think definitely better side characters into The Sopranos, but I feel like Mad Men I like the marketing aspect of it more.
I like the creative industry and like the wooing clients.
Yeah.
Oh, and what do you got? Give us one topic so we can end strong. What has happened to you this week?
Yeah, last week.
You had a whole week.
Oh, well, I did a whole bunch of stuff that you guys did. I watched the Oscars. I went to the doctor, and I'm out of range in a handful of things with my blood, so I am freaking out a little bit. So,
did you get an answer?
Not yet. So I haven't. Last time I did a blood test, it was like 2 or 3 days before he got back to me. I don't think that there's anything of concern that's going on.
Anyway, you can show your blood on pod so we can just take a look to see.
Yeah, just a little.
You're gonna sell it to the guy that's trying to get you to pay your fine for your toll.
Dennis, I can't end this record, by the way.
End the pod.